Okay, so Trading 212 have made it harder now to qualify for their 1.5% cashback. Arguably, I don't think it's necessarily harder, considering as well what you're getting in return, but there's an extra hurdle that you have to jump over in order to qualify for the 1.5% cashback. I'd be curious to hear what people think about this. Is this really friction? I don't think so. I don't think this is really enshittification. It's not like the cashback is deteriorating. They're not dropping it from 1.5 to say 0.5%. It's still just as good. You can still get it on international and domestic spending. But yeah, there's a hurdle. Okay, so from the 7th of June up until I believe the 1st of August, when this is cemented, when it's necessary, otherwise you will have your cashback removed from 1.5 to 0%, you have to have a recurring monthly or bi-weekly or weekly subscription debited from your account. So that could be like having your Netflix or your Apple TV Plus, your Spotify, your YouTube. I mean, your YouTube Premium, that is. There is literally nothing in the terms and conditions about the value of the subscription as well. So perhaps you could have like a subscription to a charity. You could donate £1 a month to charity. I think that would count as long as it's debited from your Trading 212 card. You would then qualify for the cashback. There is also another nuance in the terms and conditions that says something about like manually activating it. You have to make sure it's switched on, but I think that's probably just there for maybe semantics. I'm not really sure that's just there, but there might be a toggle in the future. I went inside my Trading 212 app and I couldn't see that, it being switched off. There was nothing for me to turn on. All I did this morning was I switched an Apple TV Plus subscription onto my Trading 212 card, which will now be debited. But I'm thinking, why are they doing this? Because like I said, it's not like they are making the cashback worse and, trying to be less generous or to make it less costly to their business. By having a recurring subscription coming out of the Trading 212 card, they are able to charge the merchant. So for example, they could charge Netflix or they could charge Apple TV now, 0.2% roughly, somewhere around there. I don't know the accurate figure, but they could charge Apple TV a percentage for my subscription. So they can generate a little bit of revenue from that payment, but it's marginal, it's tiny. So I don't think that's why they're doing it. Someone in the Discord community, which we've recently launched with Technically Money, I'll put a link below in the description box, I'll put a QR code on the screen. Someone mentioned that this could encourage greater subscriber activity, user activity, which I can see the point, right? You're gonna have to actively deposit money into the account to cover that subscription fee, which then could encourage you to deposit more perhaps. It could encourage you to just use the card more. You're thinking, well, I've got this subscription coming out, why don't I move all my subscriptions over so I can have them in the same place? It does seem weird now to me that I have I have Apple TV Plus here. I've got Amazon Prime somewhere else, along with YouTube Premium. I would probably like to consolidate them all. Why not? I guess I'm still going to earn cashback on those as well, because I'm going to earn cashback with my Apple TV Plus subscription now. Also, arguably, it's not actually cashback. I keep saying that word, but really it's not like I'm getting cash from Trading 212. The money is then reinvested into a pie of my choice. It could be equities, it could be ETFs, whatever you fancy. And I suppose if you want to try and get cash from that, you would then have to sell that product to recuperate those funds. But yeah, they call it cashback. That's probably not worth going into. But I'm curious to hear what people have to say about this. What do you think? Is this friction? Is this enshittification? Or is it simply just, it's a tiny hurdle, minuscule hurdle compared to what you're actually getting from Trading 212, because this is a fantastic card. Existing users, at least, because new users, I don't think, get access to the cashback anymore. But for existing users, we are getting 1.5% cashback up to £15 or €15 on international, which is important. Domestic spending, cool. But international spending, with the interchange bank, with the mid-market rate, no fees. Very few fees. Basically, you're unlikely to pay fees. There may be some in-app conversion fees if you're moving currencies around, but when you transact, when you tap to pay with that Trading 212 card, it's great, isn't it? It's fantastic. Beats Wise, because Wise charge a variable fee when you exchange currencies. They're not doing that. Wise are offering the mid-market or the interbank rate like Trading 212, but they're charging you a fee. Trading 212 aren't. And they're giving you 1.5% cash back up to £15 or euros. That is pretty awesome. Here in the UK, it's hard to beat. Chase UK are offering 2% up to £20. Good. And they've improved the merchant codes. You've got, takeaways available now, for example, but you don't get that on international spending. And I use this card, this Trading 212 card for international spending. I'll use it to book a hotel. I have a kid, I have a daughter and my wife, and our hotels can cost a few £1,000s when we go on holidays. And that's that typically covers the monthly cap of the cashback and then it gets reinvested. It's a nice little touch. I like it. Now, would I use it? Well, I'm obviously going to continue to use it regardless of this new hurdle that you have to go through or jump over to qualify. But would I use it if they reduce the cashback? That might be a problem for me, for international spending at least. Like the Lloyds Ultra credit card here in the UK is offering 1% cashback, although it's paid at the end of the year. If this cashback rate reduces, then I might have questions. But by putting in a new hurdle but maintaining cashback, props to Trading 212. Because I'm sure there's an advantageous business reason for this, right? There's some commercial gain to be had on their behalf, but they've not made it worse. I don't think so. Let me know in the comments if you think so. I don't think they made it worse. Or jump on the Discord if you want to join and be a founding member. I'd love to hear from you on there. There's very few of us at the moment, so let me know your thoughts on there. But I don't think this is necessarily any worse. There's an interesting nuance. I think I said it at the beginning. You've got till the 1st of August, I believe, to get that recurring subscription set up. Make sure everything is ready to carry on earning cashback. And then at that point, I think if the subscription lapses for 5 days, then you'll go down to the rate of 0%. So the 1st of August is the big date to think about. Make sure you get that subscription set up before then. I was under the impression that this promo 1.5% rate was going to end on the 31st of July, but it looks like it's going to continue. I can't see anywhere on Trading 212's website which says how long it's going to continue for, if it's going to go beyond that. I'll be curious if you know, get in the comment section, let me know. But for now, this Trading 212 card, regardless of the recurring subscription, I believe is still fantastic. I don't really see any hurdles necessarily. This is a minor piece of friction that you have to deal with, but otherwise it's still fantastic. Like all the things I've talked about so far. Like compare it to the rest of the market, it's still super generous. Ultimately, they are funneling you or trying to use this as a gateway to have you invest more with the app, use the app more. We know that. It's a piece of marketing for them, isn't it? They've worked out the cost of this, and they think that it's the cost of this is significantly less than the cost of like Google advertising or Meta advertising. This is a cheaper way to acquire customers through cashback than through classic traditional social media marketing, for example. That's what it is. And that's fine because we all get to benefit from that as well. And if we are restrictive in our behavior inside the app and we don't let this run away with us in terms of like investing and end up doing silly investments that may lose us money, and if we're disciplined with that and we just utilize the cashback and make as much money from that as we can, then it's win-win. Regardless of having to set up a recurring subscription, which most of us probably have a few of by now anyway, right? It's interesting because, like I said earlier, it could, be a way of trying to encourage people to move one and then go, oh, I may as well move them all. They could all, and that might then start to generate a bit more revenue for Trading 212 from those interchange bank fees that I mentioned, being, I think, 0.2% here in the UK. Anyway, there's just a few thoughts that I had this Monday morning. That happened yesterday. You've got a few weeks till you have to get that recurring subscription in. I'll put some details in the description box if you want to learn more. But just, think about the 1st of August as that major date.